Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dan Brookman. I'm the CEO of Airship and Toggle. Today, as part of our Comeback Strong, I'm pleased to hand over to Simon Browning of Fudami. Simon is one of our professionals. He is an on-demand expert, probably one of the best in the country. Amongst his clients are people like Krispy Kreme, and during the pandemic, Simon has launched the FOD network, which is Food on Demand Delivered, and that's a resource for operators and people interested in that space that can get involved in that network, and it's about sharing expertise, about being more profitable, about being a better operator, and just making the most of that space. Over to you, Simon. I'm just going to let you run through this deck. I've had a look through it. It looks absolutely amazing, packed full of knowledge, which is great. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Pleasure, Dan. Thanks very much for the intro. I am going to clip that and play that to myself every morning. That'd be a great way to start my day. So yeah, great to be with you, Dan, and yeah, share a bit around on-demand delivery, and I'll talk really quickly about the FOD network right at the end as well, even though you gave it a fine intro for me. So what I wanted to do is kind of give a general approach to my knowledge on-demand delivery and around KPIs, really about the KPIs being able to drive performance, and that performance being able to drive commercial revenue.
Great.
One of the things that I know we've talked about in the past, Dan, is the amount of new restaurants and new entrants onto all of the third-party platforms. You know, Deliveroo announced just last year, 20,000 new restaurants went onto their platform. So it's getting a really crowded marketplace. So making sure that you're visible, that you're a great operator on those platforms is now more important than ever before. So those are the kind of topics that I want to cover.
Great.
I've got a little bit of knowledge around it. So worked for Krispy Kreme, launched their on-demand delivery service. I mean, as part of the business we run now at Fudami, you know, responsible for over 10,000 weekly orders, manage 450 tablets, manage over £5 million of annual revenue.
Wow.
So it's quite a number of orders, and we work across the multi-platforms as well as having a last mile operator as well. So got some background in it. One of the things I always remember Just Eat saying in the early days was they have Just Eat heroes. And basically what that says is, if you're one of the top performing operators on their site, they notice that you will generally get 30% more revenue than somebody who isn't a top performer. So that's a real clear stat that says if you're going to operate well on these third-party platforms, you're going to expect to do 30% more sales. And that's a pretty tangible number for just making sure that your KPIs are operating well. So what are the KPIs? Well, the KPIs, not necessarily your customer ratings, although your customer ratings are really important. Your KPIs go towards driving the algorithms that the third-party platforms use for the hierarchy of where you're going to show up in the app. Okay. So a friend of mine will run a restaurant in King's Cross. If you now punch his postcode in, there's 700 different food options that you can get in a 2-mile radius.
Amazing.
So that's like being Google search competitive these days. If a customer's browsing for food, then if you've got 700 restaurants on the platform, you don't want to be down that list very far at all, because a customer's going to find a great operator, going to be inspired by their offer, and they're going to purchase. So if somebody's browsing, you really do want to have good customer visibility, you want good stats, and you want good KPIs. Your KPIs will go towards this algorithm that drives your visibility. The other thing that the platforms do these days as well is that they present back to you as a regular user what they think your best options are. So they want to serve back to you what you're most likely to order, what your choice of cuisine is, and the operators that they think are the best. So of course, if you perform badly on KPIs, like your tablets aren't turned on or you're missing orders, they won't present you to those customers, or they won't present you as high up that list, because you're going to lose revenue. And if you're losing revenue, they're losing revenue.
And I guess they believe that means that their customer might then jump on, if you're on Deliveroo and I'm a Deliveroo, that's one I use, but I have a bad experience, I might just jump onto Uber Eats and see what's on there.
You're probably talking from experience. Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what customers do. Absolutely. You think, well, I don't have it on this platform. They don't, sometimes customers don't associate the restaurant with the full experience. They're thinking, well, I'm on Deliveroo. Deliveroo don't have it. I'll check on Just Eat. And you're absolutely right. And that's the fear, isn't it? Is that then Deliveroo, through your bad performance, you're going to drive somebody to Uber Eats that have a great experience over there and they won't come back. Yeah. So they've lost a lifetime customer, not just one transaction. So absolutely, Dan, absolutely perfect point. So here you'll see just a couple of indicators. I just picked one out from a local. I'm down in Southampton. 4.8 is a great metric. Anything kind of 4.7 and above is a really great metric. So these guys are being positioned as a top eat. So you will find when you go onto the app as well that you'll see the better restaurants always featured towards the top. And again, through experience, whenever we do a promotion, sorry, Dan, I've got a little bit of feedback on the line at the moment. If you see those at the top of the apps, again, that will drive performance because instant visibility will drive to instant kind of orders. So and then the KPIs we're going to talk about today are tablet availability, product availability, order accuracy, driver wait times, end-to-end delivery times, and then the only little note on sales is the more sales you do, the more you're going to drive up their algorithms anyway. It's a kind of virtuous plus circle, if you like. So tablet availability. Now this sounds crazy, but when you manage a number of stores, it's so easy for tablet availability to get away from you. And I've seen stats where tablet availability doesn't run above 90%. So that's akin to having your doors, your restaurant meant to be open, but your doors shut for 10% of the time. So it drives me nuts as a channel manager or looking at it. But of course, everybody's human. And if you've got a customer rattling the doors, you'll know. If you've got a customer who can't get onto your tablet because you've got it turned off, you won't know. You won't know until you go and check the tablet.
And is this where DeliverX would come into play? Something that's in,
yes.
A middleware platform to manage that brings it through to the POS. Does that almost solve that problem just completely?
100%. We are looking at that for a number of clients at the moment to say middleware, of which there's a couple that we recommend is DeliverX and Bistro Hub.
Okay.
And they will drive significant performance increases and a great return on their investment as well. So I'm not shouting I don't own these companies, but if you take a look at them and you have a look at your tablet availability from your stats and you say I'm at 90%, and you then go, well, if I'm open for 5% longer, you can do the easy maths based on your sales and see whether that's going to be a worthy investment or not.
They're going through significant growth themselves. I mean, DeliverX, I know some of the team there, and they're absolutely flying.
Yes, yeah,
SaaS model business.
Exactly this point. So going back a number of years, Deliveroo, Uber, and Just Eat, etc., would say, no, we definitely have all our own customers. We protect our own customer data. We don't want to open up any APIs. But of course, operators now are running multiple brands out of single kitchens. You could end up with 16, 20, 24 tablets on a wall. So the beauty of DeliverX, Bistro Hub, etc., is that they'll bring it all into one tablet. So that makes that operation really easy. But then, as you say, you can then manage your opening times, and it will give you much better alerts and quicker ways to turn around your performance than just having tablets. So yeah, totally agree. Middleware, very important to get. And then tablet availability is making it operational. So it's syncing your digital team or a delivery performance manager or however you're set up, depending on whether you're a chain or an independent. It's just making that part of your daily checks. So are my lights on? Is the fryer turned on? Have I got the grill on? Is the till on? Have I got change in the till? The door's open? Has my tablet turned on? And it is those daily checks that just ingrains the digital nature of running restaurants or takeaways as much as the physical presence of having somebody in front of you trying to order some food. And then also make sure, because this can also happen just by error, is that you'll end up having different store hours on the tablets than you've originally programmed in. I've seen it a number of times, and I don't know why it happens, whether there's been a reset or a software reset by the company, but it's thrown opening hours out. So therefore on the platform, your customer might think you're open, but you're actually not. So it's always worth just having a check maybe every couple of months, just to make sure that your opening hours are correct on the platform. Product availability might go a little bit without saying, but it does happen quite a bit, in that you will have something available for sale on the platform, the customer comes through and orders it, and then you have to reject it because then you find that the product isn't actually available. Again, the problem with that is that you're losing a sale, you're losing a sale, and you're also making the customer disappointed. And if the customer's ordered it and you've cancelled it, they can then leave you a negative review. Yeah. Whereas the only time you can ever get a review is once a customer's ordered. So if you take the product away and it's not available, and the product, the customer can't order it, you then don't have to reject it. They can't leave a review. So it's just something just to keep monitoring. And it's probably better to take very low stock items off sale than to risk somebody, you having 2 left and then somebody coming in and ordering 3, and then you've got to reject the order. So that's product availability. Order accuracy. I think we've all been here. I know my latest order on one of the platforms was wrong, and it drives customer complaints. It's the highest customer complaint driver. So as you see from the slide there, 40% of complaints are because of order accuracy. That's a huge number. It's one we've seen some improvement over just by doing the old method of checking twice. That's a simple solution, and then bagging and tagging as well. So making sure that not the receipt, because you don't want to put the receipt on the bag, but you want to put the order on the bag, is then if there's a bag going out or a box going out or however your food is going out, is make sure that that's clearly labeled, and then the courier can check it. So it's one product or 2 products. You just want to make as many checks as possible, because once it's gone out the door, of course, you've got no control over it.
I think last year we saw, when we were in the office occasionally and we were ordering in lunch or doing a late night, and we ordered some beers or a bottle of wine or something alongside it, I think that 3 consecutive orders came without those, and it was clear that because they were in a different part of the building outside of the kitchen, it was just getting missed, and it was just
Well, I was here the other day, and we had, the whole house was busy, and I think we all decided we needed a treat, which is what on-demand delivery is there for. And we ordered coffee, and 3 of us ordered coffees. One of them came wrong. So the problem with it as well then is you don't then get your new coffee sent to you. What happens is that you're nameless to the coffee shop. The third-party platform refunds you your money, which was £3, but to reorder it, you then got a minimum order value to hit of something like £2.50 penalty, plus the order again. So my £3 coffee was going to be £8 to get again. So as a customer, you just don't end up happy with a wrong order. Nobody wins, and it's so frustrating. So it's one of those things. You've made the food, just make sure it's it's right and it's put in the right order. It sounds simple, but it drives a lot of customer frustration. This is going to be a shout out to a guy that I've only just found on YouTube, and he's a delivery rider, and he works for all the operators. So he works for Uber Eats and Deliveroo, and he also works for last mile operators like Stuart. Really informative videos, and hopefully I'll end up doing a little bit of work with him, because he's got a really nice style to him. But driver waiting times, if anybody ever wants to see why driver waiting times are so critical, is watch this video. So this guy will talk you through being kept waiting for over 15 minutes to pick up an order. Now, these drivers, most of the drivers in the gig economy are self-employed drivers. So it means if they're not on a job, they're not earning any money, and they're earning they're earning pounds per hour. These, these guys are doing, a little lifestyle business, and it suits some of them very well, and some of them get paid pretty well as well. But if you watch this video, you'll see how being made to wait, this chap will then start rejecting orders. So he can see the orders come up for this particular location that made him wait. And then he's just going, delete, delete, delete. So he's not delivering those orders.
Wow.
So
wow.
This location may be okay because it's a well-known location and other riders may go to it. But if you get a bad reputation for keeping drivers waiting, they will not pick you first. On the flip side, I went to a location yesterday who are doing dark kitchens. They give their riders little brownies or a little treat or a cup of coffee if it's a couple of minutes late. He says, we've got 4 drivers sit in our car park. He says, as soon as I got an order, I know that's going out the door. And it's you probably remember this, Dan, working in food service yourself, it was like delivery drivers back in the day when we had a kitchen, you'd make him the veg guys, you'd make them a bacon sandwich. So you got the best vegetables. It's the same with the delivery drivers. Look after these guys because they're delivering your product. So when they turn up, and this guy's a really cheery, lovely fella, when he turns up on doorsteps with people's foods, he's so nice and charming. You'd be like, I want him to work for my brand. But at the same time, you don't want to pay him off either, because he's well, the worst thing that'll happen, he just won't come. I could see you were going to ask something, but maybe I covered it there.
It's fascinating, isn't it? I mean, it's just the thing that I just wouldn't think about it. But it's just so, why would they waste their time sat outside your business, waiting that 15 minutes for that order to be ready when they could be delivering somebody else's? Fascinating.
The other thing they'll do as well is they will operate multiple tablets. So they'll have multiple mobile phones. So if he went into this organization and sat there for 15 minutes and then received another job on another platform, he may decide to go. And then you haven't got a delivery driver. You've got a delivery driver assigned, but he's gone. And he might turn up then 20 minutes later. You're 15 minutes late. He's 20 minutes late. The customer's going mad. The food's going cold. It's a mess. Whereas,
is there any influence then? And I'm hands up. I'm a big Deliveroo user. I come into Sheffield, into my office. It's in the city centre of Sheffield. I live out in the sticks. I can't get Deliveroo there. I come into my office. I'm cycling in, so I always order a nice lunch. Today I've had mac and cheese. From a dark kitchen called Mac and Wings.
Going down. Well done.
And I tip the driver because I tip. So I tip the driver. Does that have an influence on the drivers about tipping, about all of that sort of stuff that goes along with it? Is there any algorithms around that says Dan Brookman, always a good tip from that fella, and there's an order in the kitchen at...
I think your delivery riders will certainly get to know you. They don't see your destination. They only get the destination once they've accepted the job. I think tipping riders, if you feel like you're getting value out of what you're doing, then that's brilliant. It makes a massive difference to these guys.
Massive difference.
If you're doing a pound or a couple of pounds, they're on. They can earn £15 an hour. So you can imagine if they do 3 jobs an hour and everybody gives them a little bonus, that makes a big difference to these guys. And they are doing a super job. I think they get, like a lot of industries, white van man maybe gets a bad rep, but it doesn't make everybody a bad driver, does it? Because you're in a white van. And these guys do a phenomenal job most of the time. Unfortunately, you get 1 or 2, like any industry, and that maybe gives them a bad name. But they're out in all weathers, aren't they? In fact, they're more out when it's raining than when it's sunny, because that's when we don't want to leave our offices, isn't it? So so great video. And if anybody wants to get that kind of whole kind of look after your driver mentality, watch this guy's video, because it's very personable, and you'll really want to look after him. And he's got a number of videos out there as well. So I'll give him another shout out. It's Jay from Gig Hustle, and you can find him on YouTube, and I'll put a link into the deck as well. So
great,
find it. that then goes to sort of end-to-end delivery time. So this is more just like where it leads to really in the whole kind of customer perception about where you're going to order. On-demand delivery is all about I'm hungry, right? I'm hungry or I'm thirsty and I want it now. So that rider, keeping your rider waiting, will have a massive difference around what's showing up on the algorithm. So if you traditionally take a long time to cook your food, you keep your drivers waiting, your end-to-end delivery times are slow, you're going to come up with that accuracy because, the platforms want to tell you as a customer, listen, don't expect it in 30 minutes. If you order from here, you're not going to get it for 50 minutes. Now, I know ignore the brand, right? Because, whether you want Nando's or Fairham's Burgers and Pizzas is another conversation. But a lot of people will just order around what's the score and what's the time, because half an hour makes a big difference for your lunch, right? If you're hungry now, I'd rather get it in 20 minutes than an hour. Sorry, Dan, you're on mute. Sorry.
It's fascinating, isn't it? That whole deck is simply operate your on-demand in the same way as you would operate your face-to-face in-house business. It's the time to serve, it's the time to pay, it's your availability, it's the products that are available. I mean, operators should just be going, are we going to do on demand? Are we going to do dark kitchen? Are we going to do Deliveroo or Uber Eats or Stuart or whoever it might be? Yeah. And if we are, we just need to do it at the same standard as we would whether we're operating with the doors open.
100%. And if you're starting, and I will say, this is where, it was not surprising to us, because you can kind of look back in hindsight, I guess, but the digital customer is because they're not there in front of you, living, breathing, talking. It takes a little bit of time to get your teams really on board with accepting what you've just said there, Dan, that digital customer is as important as the customer who's either sat in your restaurant or stood in front of you ordering a takeaway.
Yeah.
And because it's faceless and it's a noise or it's a beep or it's a flash up on a screen, it does take a little bit of time just for that habit to form within teams to go, I've got to hit those metrics because I know they're important. And if I do hit those metrics, I've got a much better chance of winning. Yeah. And we had a little conversation before we started today as well. This doesn't say that you'll just do this and you'll be successful. This is almost like the building blocks. You have to do this and then do your marketing and then have a great product, et cetera, et cetera. But if you don't do this, you are going to be losing sales. And it's not, the good news is it's not easy to get them all at a high level. So, but then the good news on that is that, that is then a reason to win, right? So if you do outperform the market, then you will get the rewards.
And as we talked about before, you started recording, a big shift for us is Deliveroo offering this opt-in. It's a major move that. So if I go to my Wagamama or my Faux or my Byron or my Rosa's Thai, it's then got the little checkbox. Do you want to receive marketing? And it's for the first time. I didn't think it happened. So, I tip my hat to Deliveroo. Good on them. But the operators can get hold of the customer data. It's not the basket data. There's nothing smart about it, but it is the customer contact data. It is an opt-in. So you are learning about who that audience is. Yeah. And that's so valuable because when we come out of the pandemic and doors are opening, there's still going to be, it's not going to drop off a cliff, this. No. It's still people whose behavior has changed and they will still then go, if it's 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon and I'm operating Rosa's Thai, I might bob out an email to everybody who's not booked over the weekend saying, the weather's looking a bit crap. Don't worry, we're on Deliveroo. We're on Deliveroo, or you've ordered from Deliveroo. And all you're doing is, you're just increasing that bite of the cherry, really. And making sure your customers aren't going to your competitors.
Yeah, and I think what happened last year as well, obviously during the pandemic and everybody was forced almost in a way to accept digital where, they might have not been digital natives. I mean, Deliveroo increased their target audience from 35 to 45.
Okay.
Because so many more people now are just so used. I mean, this call, Dan, isn't it? You know, just Zooming. But I think with delivery, what happened is people got exposed to actually better food and being willing and willing to pay for better food as well. So I think you know, 2 years ago, my takeaway would have been just a local, you know, just a local Indian, a local Chinese, you know, but now, you know, I can spend almost restaurant equivalent money on getting a good takeaway in, because sometimes that suits the occasion actually better than everybody having to put their, you know, their clobber on and truck out to a restaurant. I mean, restaurants, we're all going to fly out, aren't we? I can't wait. Pubs open, give me a restaurant.
It's going to be
can't wait.
Chaos.
But at the same time, there'll be the occasion where, you know, it's a Friday night. We don't all want to go out late week. Let's get it in. So when you do get it in, you know, then it's got to be, you know, like anything, you want to make sure that that's value for money and the best experience you can get. So, amazing.
Very good. That's honestly incredible. Really straightforward. Really nice presentation. I really appreciate it, and I know
no problem.
I know operators will as well. So thanks very much. And we're going to pop this up online, the slides as well as the recording. So thanks for that, Simon.
No worries. And if I could just chip in just at the end, just on, so it's fod.network is the website. So we spent a lot of evenings and hours just putting that together. So it's a totally free resource. This kind of stuff is on there. Anybody, there's loads of buttons on there to ask a question, you know, all kind of hidden, but you know, we'll do our best to answer everything. Like yourself, Dan, I mean, I think one of the nicest things that came out of last year is kind of this whole attitude of just trying to help each other in the industry. And it, you know, genuinely, like yourself, you know, we're here, we'll try and answer as many questions as we can in on-demand delivery, because if we can help the industry bounce back quicker, then it's great for everybody, isn't it?
Absolutely is. Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Simon. Great.
Thanks, Dan.
Cheers, mate. See you.
Cheers.
Bye.